more as we get it. And particularly, we're interested, obviously, in learning about the conditions of the 3 individuals that were struck this morning.
Yeah, that's I-35. The east side is where you see most of the traffic. People are probably slowing down to watch and see what's going on. Look at all of the police cars.
We have a breaking story out of Dallas, Texas. Just this morning, it appears that an ICE facility processing illegal immigrants was shot at by a sniper. And we can now confirm that there were 3 people that were shot, and the shooter shot themselves before they could be apprehended. So it looks like we have 4 different fatalities involved in this shooting. You just saw the video there of a little bit of news coverage of it. But of course, we're going to delve a little bit deeper. We have Fox 4 out of the DFW area, which is Dallas-Fort Worth. 3 people shot in an active shooter situation. This is kind of like your live updates type bit. According to police sources, the suspect was a sniper on a roof armed with a rifle. The shooter, identified by police as a white man, died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head as agents approached. The 3 victims were detainees in ICE custody. The investigation is ongoing. So obviously, somebody shooting at an ICE facility is going to be very, very, what's the word to describe this as? Polarizing. ICE has been very, very heavily in the news over the last few weeks and months as they've ramped up activities since the Trump administration has taken power. And this seems to be yet another response to that. And I want to also highlight this piece from Disclosed TV. I don't know if this is specifically confirmed yet, but I trust them quite well. It appears that the sniper was perched on top of a nearby immigration attorney's office. I don't know if this is any symbolic choice or if this was just a logistical choice, or maybe they have the attorney's office near an ICE facility. I guess that just makes sense. But I mean, look at this. Look at the widespread police response to this. There is a lot going on. We're going to keep delving into this. Now, the acting director of ICE, Todd Lyons, said shots were fired into the ICE office in Texas where detainees are brought in. All the ICE employees are accounted for, but there are confirmed fatalities. The victims appear to be the detainees. We actually have Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, who said there was a shooting this morning at the Dallas ICE Gov field office. Details are still emerging, but we can confirm there were multiple injuries and fatalities. The shooter, of course, as previously stated, is deceased by a self-inflicted wound. While we don't know motive yet, we know that our ICE law enforcement is facing unprecedented violence against them. It must stop. Please pray for the families please pray for the victims and their families. This is where a lot of attention is going to be focused because the shooting has happened. We're going to get all the details. We're going to know everything about the shooter. But what we don't know yet is the motive. Of course, you can make a lot of very reasonable assumptions about this. The reasonable assumption to make is that the shooter was a rabid anti-ICE person. I won't say a leftist because I think there are some conservatives that are against immigration reform as well. So I won't say that, but somebody more than likely rabidly anti-ICE. That's the story that a lot of people are running with so far, including even the vice president, who is saying a good statement. The obsessive attack on law enforcement, particularly ICE, must stop. I'm praying for everyone hurt in this attack and for their families, of course, as he should say and as Kristi should say. But a lot of confusion is going to be abounded until we get some sort of manifesto from the shooter or more information, because nobody really knows exactly why the shooter did this. Obviously, this happened as I'm recording this about an hour and a half ago. So we're still really, really fresh into this. But the reason why a lot of people, including the Secretary of Homeland Security, the Vice President of the United States, myself, and many others are jumping to the idea, and I won't say jumping to the conclusion because I'm not going to conclude that yet, but jumping at the idea that this was probably a politically motivated attack against a federal organization that has been emboldened and had its funding increased by President Trump, is that we've been seeing this for months now. Take a look at this video of ICE agents recently having to fight off a group of protesters in Chicago that were trying to block them in.
Nazi fucking Gestapo pricks!
You are Nazis! You are Nazis! You are Nazis! You are Nazis!
Now, of course, those protesters didn't really stand a chance. The ICE is very well funded and very well trained and just generally tough guys. But this is kind of a bad direction to be going in for protesters and people to be fighting ICE, for people to now be shooting at ICE facilities. We don't know if they were shooting specifically at the detainees or at ICE agents. Either scenario was quite bad, but one is, to me, more likely. But here we have something even more pressing recently. Andrew Colvett, who is a close friend of Charlie Kirk's before his passing, and has been speaking out a lot in Charlie's memory, because Charlie's memory was a lot to do with political violence. He said, now they're shooting ICE officers. Pray for peace. It seems like political violence is definitely on the rise, and if this shooting is confirmed to be more than likely specifically targeting these officers, and it just so happens the guy happened to hit detainees instead of the officers, it's going to be a bad show for sure. But we have even more, because this political violence has been on the rise, and people on both sides have been fomenting it. But as we can probably jump to the conclusion, especially with the recent shooting of Charlie Kirk, it seems to be a lot more of people on the left that are fomenting it a lot stronger amongst their base to hit people on the right. Take a listen to Gavin Newsom talking about ICE recently.
That's happening in the United States of America. Masked men jumping out of unmarked cars, people disappearing, no due process. No oversight, zero accountability happening in the United States of America today. People ask, well, is authoritarianism, you're being hyperbolic? Bull, we're being hyperbolic. If you're a black and brown community, it's here in this country. And so I'm deeply proud that I had the privilege of signing the nation's first bill. People en masse, people quite literally disappearing, no due process, no rights in a democracy where we have rights. Immigrants have rights, and we have the right to stand up and push back, and that's what we're doing here today. This is a disgrace. This is an outrage, what we have allowed to happen in this country. And I could not be more proud of this legislature, the legislative authors, to the community demanding more from all of us at this moment to push back. I'll be signing a bill, first in the nation, saying enough. ICE, unmask. What are you afraid of?
Gavin Newsom says, we have the right to stand up and push back, and that's what we're doing. I'll be setting a bill, first in the nation, saying enough to ICE unmasked. What are you afraid of? Well, if this story comes out the way it more than likely will, what ICE should be afraid of is losing their lives. There is a sniper perched on top of a roof taking shots at their facility. There are people that are dedicating their time and energy, and apparently they don't have a job to go fight ICE. Can you believe that? Well, I can when you hear from more than likely presidential hopeful Gavin Newsom, who's the current governor of California. And I mean, I don't know how you could be the governor of California and actually hope to run to be the president of the United States in 2025, but maybe he's got a strong enough base. Maybe people will ignore his policies and say, oh, look at Gavin Newsom's face. But regardless, that's what a lot of people have been saying, at least. But regardless, this political violence is only being fomented further and further, and I can't even begin to predict what could happen next. Of course, Gavin Newsom isn't the only one out here fomenting this political violence. Take a look at this. We have Tim Walz calling ICE Trump's modern-day Gestapo. Listen to this.
Donald Trump's modern-day Gestapo is scooping folks up off the streets. They're in unmarked vans, wearing masks, being shipped off to foreign torture dungeons. No chance to mount a defense, not even a chance to kiss a loved one goodbye, just grabbed up by masked agents, shoved into those vans, and disappeared. To be clear, there's no way for us to know whether they were actually criminals or not, because they refused to give them a trial. We're supposed to just take their word for it.
It's rhetoric like this that results in the shooting at the ICE facility happening. And it's the same rhetoric that resulted in Charlie Kirk's murder. So many people were calling Charlie Kirk a Nazi and a bigot and a racist that somebody took it upon themselves to say, well, the only good Nazi is a dead Nazi, and grabbed a rifle and took the life of a father and a husband. And obviously this story is still developing with the ICE shooting, but if it comes out the way that I believe it will, I think this could be laid at the feet of Gavin Newsom, Tim Walz, and all the other radical leftists that have been targeting ICE agents and their families, saying enough is enough. What are you afraid of? Because we're going to give you something to be scared of. Now, take a listen to this video right here out of Portland a few weeks ago, which is just more people attacking ICE agents, listening to Gavin Newsom, listening to Tim Walz, and listening to the leftist propaganda.
You girlies are move. Out down here, y'all. Huh? You feel like big strong guy coming out here and taking the have yourselves. You got your hair all braided, your neck. Why are you pushing peaceful protesters off of public property? And fucking push us around and poison us. We're following illegal orders! You don't even know where! Are you in? And following illegal fucking orders! Every fucking day! Every fucking night!
That is public property.
We are public fucking property until you came and stopped us in the middle of the street. So what's your fucking issue, bro? For nothing.
Bye-bye, elbow patches. Bye-bye, elbow patches. We're just stupid fucking radio queens. Bye-bye, elbow patches. Yes.
You must feel so confident now, girlfriend.
That right there was a real show. And there are so many more examples I could bring up here that this video could be 8 hours long. So I'm going to leave it there for now. But this story is still developing. If we get more information, which I'm certain we will, I will possibly make a follow-up video to this one, especially if we get a shooter's name and a motive. And if the exact opposite comes out to be true and it happened to be somebody specifically targeting detainees, that would be horrible. Obviously, this is all still very, very fresh. So all I can ask for y'all is that you pray for the victims and their families. Because even though it was 3 detainees that were killed, and as much as we harp and say, you know, illegal immigration's bad, illegal immigrants need to go home, we still respect them as humans, despite what the left may say, the kids in cages, whatever they'll try to say. We still respect them as human beings of this earth and children of God. So these people did not deserve to die. They deserved to return home to their families and hopefully build a better situation for themselves. And if they want to come to America, do it the right way. Regardless, though, this story is still developing. We'll keep an eye on things. Aside from all that, I'll catch you next time, free thinkers. Don't forget to spread the virus of intelligence.